Hello, everyone. It's Darlene. It's Sunday, April 10th, and I'm coming before you with a very serious message. I want to talk to you about enslavement, and my question to you is what are you enslaved to? What are you enslaved to, and why? Now, I was going to title the whole video that, but I think a better title for this video is Who's Going to Tell Them There's a Better Way? So, when I started thinking about what I wanted to tell you today, I was thinking about something I kept hearing myself say over the last several weeks. And what I was saying was, I cannot believe I am living paycheck to paycheck again. I cannot believe this. But what I started thinking about too is some of my thinking and my judgmental moments. And I had a wake up call. So, how many of us, when we're driving and we come up to an intersection or we come up to a median and there's somebody out there and they're begging for money, and we have this mentality they need to get off their behinds and work, um, or we're like, really get a job, or we're thinking something of that line, or maybe you don't think that. I don't know, I'm just being honest. Sometimes that's what I think, and I know it's wrong, so I'm just telling you it's a wrong thinking, but that's how I feel sometimes. But I started looking at the cascade of events that have occurred in my life since 2020. And many of them have been out of my control. So let's rehash those events quickly. So I came off of a year of taking a break from work because of true burnout of working really hard, long hours, taking care of loved ones, professional work, working more than one job, for a good over 30 years, uh, working to serve people and not just serving them to earn a paycheck, but serving them with a compassionate heart, uh, and feeling the emotional burnout from being so involved in what I do, invested in what I do, because I believe that my job or my jobs have not just been jobs, but they have been truly work that God has given me to do. Uh, Almost like mission work, but at home. So in 2020, when I went back to work, if all of you know that 2020 is also when COVID hit, but it's when I came off of my 1 year of healing, of coming back to wellness, of trying to have total well being, mind, body, soul, spirit. But because I was out for a year, I went through a lot of money that I had saved for rainy day, not thinking that when I came back to work that other things would occur, like COVID, like in April, getting hit by a driver under the influence that would not only um, total my car, which is nothing compared to still being here, but would leave me with long term health problems, would leave me with financial um, insecurity, because not only did I come back to having used a lot of my financial money that I set aside, but also coming back to debt because of the accident, um, easily over $25,000 in debt from things that occurred from the accident, and these bills are still accumulating and they have not been paid. Except, well, when I say they have not been paid, they were not paid for by the person who caused the accident. I am paying these bills. And during this time, of course, it's so easy to use your credit card, and before you know it, your credit card is greater than what you expected. You never thought it was going to be there. And, then trying to work part time because I'm getting older, because I'm again trying to continue to take care of me physically, mentally, spiritually, and to be available to loved ones. So I truly have learned the meaning of, living paycheck to paycheck, and understanding that saying that you are one paycheck away from financial disaster, from being out on the street, from being homeless, from economic hardship, from whatever you can think of, being one paycheck away. And it has made me look at these people on the street in a different way, because we don't know their story. And even if we knew their story, we probably would not know their whole story. So it's been something that I've been thinking about. And, it also made me start thinking about when I was growing up. I was raised partly by my grandparents. And so that meant I spent a lot of time with older family members, great aunts, great uncles, and I would hear them talking. And it's amazing the things that you can remember hearing them talk about. And it made me start thinking about that old African proverb or statement that it takes a village. We have forgotten that it takes a village, not just to raise a child, but it takes a village to share the knowledge, to help someone else make it along the way. And I'm going to tie this all together in the sense that everything that we go through is not to harm you, it's not to make you become discouraged, but it's for you to use to help someone else. I'm going to tell you something that happened today that's kind of along the line of this. Who's going to tell them there's a better way? So I went to a church service held out in the parking lot, came home, and one of my neighbor's children was outside playing basketball, and he was out there with his pants below his buttocks. And yes, he had shorts on underneath it, but it was very apparent that he intentionally put his pants below his buttocks, like a lot of people walk around as if it's a fashion. And I was sitting there thinking, because this is a young man who is not an adolescent yet, but he's already learning behaviors or habits that he sees and doesn't know the story behind it. Again, who is going to tell them there's a better way? And I sat in my car for a second. My mother was sitting beside me, and my mom said, "Don't say anything to him." And I think that the reason I was saying that to myself was because I didn't want to have to deal with what if his parents didn't agree with me correcting him. And that's the way of the world today, is we have so much tolerance that we don't correct in a loving way. I'm not saying correct and be destructive in your correction, but correct with love. And so the more I sat there, even though it wasn't a long time, the more I felt disturbed about not feeling comfortable talking to him. And I looked at my mom and I said, I want you to sit here for a minute. I've got to do something. And before I got out of my car, I started thinking, okay, why am I worried about what someone's going to say? Just, Lord, give me the way to say it so that it can be received. And whether the child does the right thing or continues to wear his pants sagging, at least I can give him some information. So I pulled up on my phone. I said, what is it about sagging pants? Where did it originate? And when I pulled it up on my phone, sure enough, I found it originated in the prison system in the 1960s because they were not given belts. And so they walked around with their pants sagging. And so I walked up to this young man, and the first thing I did is I said, "Excuse me, I know you're my neighbor. I don't know your name. What is your name, young man?" And he told me. And I said, "I just want to show you something." I said, "I see that you're wearing your pants below your butt." I said, "You're wearing your pants sagging, and I know that you feel like that's a fashion, but I want to show you where this actually came from." And as soon as I walked up to him, I got a reaction from him that I totally was not expecting. What he did is he immediately pulled his pants up. And he looked at my phone and he read that what it said. And he said, "I am so sorry." Now, this is a young man who I could have sat there and not said a thing, but I chose to say something to him, even with the concern of repercussions of talking to him. But at least now he has the knowledge of where that came from. And I told him, I said, the other thing is, it's really disrespectful to have your behind out. Even though you're covered, it's disrespectful to do that for young ladies. I said, even for me, I find it very disrespectful. And again, he said, "I'm sorry." And I could tell that he meant it. So the question again is, what are you enslaved to? Is it financial enslavement? Is it enslavement to our community values or whatever? Why are you not one of those people who is trying to instill knowledge into people who need to hear the truth? Okay? So let's go back to financial, because something I want to say about living paycheck to paycheck. I started thinking about these credit cards and I took a very good look at what I owed, and I looked at how much is being paid in interest, and I looked at how much I would be paying, just paying the bare minimum every month, and how long it would take to pay it off. And I made an executive decision to do whatever it takes that is legal, tighten my belt even tighter than I've tightened it before to get out of debt. The reason I'm making this video today is, who is going to tell them there's a better way? I've realized that most of us are facing financial hardship. But whatever you can do to get out of debt, please do it. And do it as fast as you can. The world is crazy. There's wars going on. There's prices and gases are sky high, even though they've come down some. Food prices are going up. Please, people, whatever you can do to get out of debt, whatever you can do to free yourself from whatever you're enslaved in, we have got to start thinking about, when we buy stuff, is it something we really need, or is it something we're wasting These are times where we have got to be smart about what we're doing financially. We have got to figure out how to break the curses of being uh, so enslaved to other people when it comes to finances. So I'm going to leave you with two Bible verses. And the first one comes from Proverbs chapter 22, verse 7. And both of these verses are going to come from the Amplified Version. And the first one says, "The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender." We have got to be mindful of this, and we've got to start looking at credit cards in the way that they really are. They are to enslave you, to keep you financially under the load of somebody else. Okay? Do what you can do to get out of financial debt. The second verse I want to give you is Proverbs chapter 11, verse 14, and it says, "Where no wise guidance is, the people fall. But in the multitude of counselors, there is safety." In other versions, it says there is a victory. So please, guys, if you're in a situation and you can tell someone a better way to do it, tell them. Tell them with love. Don't be afraid to tell them. But help someone make it a better way. Okay? Help someone. Don't be afraid. Tell them with love. I thank you for your time. If this has been helpful to you, please share it. If you want to hear more from me, then subscribe. It costs you nothing to subscribe to my station. But if you really don't want to hear more, then don't subscribe. I'm not asking you to do that, okay? Only if you think you can benefit from what I'm saying. I am about a mission of passing on knowledge. I know that we all can do better. And I'm going to do my best from every experience that I have gone through in this life of mine. I'm going to share it to help make somebody else's way a little better. You guys be blessed now and have a great Holy Week. Since this is Holy Week, one more week before Easter or Resurrection Sunday. God bless each and every one of you.